Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Teaching English on Dروس Super Goal 4. Before we start, we would like to welcome Mr. Salih Al-Ujan, the interpreter to the sign language. As always, we start our class by reviewing the objectives, what we are planning to achieve at the end of this class, inshallah. By the end of the class, students will be able to answer comprehension questions based on listening. Also, they will be able to take and report phones messages. The students will be able to pronounce could you and would you in a reduced natural way. Now we are at Unit 6, as you know, and the title of this unit is Could You Do Me a Favor? This is a request. And we are going to study Section 4 and Section 5 that are listening and pronunciation. Before we start, we make a quick revision on the previous lesson, which was grammar. You remember in the previous lesson, we told you how to make a request and how to make it a polite one. You can ask by saying, help me, but it's better to say, can you help me? Or you can say, could you help me? You can say also, would you help me? And there is another way also to say, will you help me? These are considered as a polite way to make requests. If you accept, you have many expressions that you can use for accepting that. You can say sure, certainly, of course, or you can say no problem. But if you refuse, you can apologize by saying sorry, I can't, or you can say not now, I'm busy. And also, we learned how to make offer. You can say, I'll carry that for you. If you find somebody who cannot carry his bag or finding difficulty in carrying the bag, you can say, I'll carry that for you. Or you can say, let me carry that for you. That is an offer. You offer help this now. And also, you can accept or refuse. You can accept by saying, thank you, you are very kind. Or you can refuse by saying, that's all right. You can also use another expression by saying, don't worry. And also we answered some exercises about how to describe a situation. We have these two girls here. One of them wants her friend to lend her $10. So she says, please lend me $10. And if you want to report that to others, you can say, Rana wants Sabah to lend her $10. Also, you can report this one when the receptionist asks Saeed to fill in a form. He says here, could you fill in this form? And if you want to report the request, you can say the receptionist wants Saeed to fill the form. Also, you can use this one. Will you give me a hand? You can. This guy here cannot carry the box, and he wants somebody to help him. And we told you a hand means a help here. You can report that by saying Ricardo wants Matt to give him a hand or to help him. And our class today is going to be on listening. This is the main class of today. And in this class, we are going to listen to messages. Okay? And here we have this guy is getting the messages that his friends have recorded. They recorded messages on his phone, and he is going to listen to them. Who are these? The first one is Jim, as you can see here. The second one is Andy, who left a message. The third one is John. This is John. And this is Charles that left a message. So these four guys left messages. What do you think their messages were about? This is what we're going to learn in the next slide. Okay, so here also, before we start listening, we're going to answer some questions after listening. So it is very good way to read the questions before listening and before reading in questions so that you can be familiar about what the topic is, and that will make listening and understanding easier for you. So listen to the messages from Jason's telephone answering machine. Match each person with his message. The first one is Jim, the second one is Andy, John, and Charles. The first one, we want to match the request with the name. The person wants Jason to pick him up at 8 o'clock a.m. Now we are going to, after listening, you will find out who is going to ask Jason to pick him up at 8 o'clock in the morning. The second one here, this person asks to borrow Jason's brother's volleyball net. One of the guys here wants to borrow the volleyball net. This person tells Jason also to bring a mask and flippers. Okay, mask and flippers. We're going to find out which one of these four is asking for mask and flipper, and we're going to learn also what mask and flippers are. Also, the number 4, this person asks Jason to bring a snack. So here you can find the difficult words here. He wants him to pick him up, to go to him by the car and take him at 8 o'clock. And this is the volleyball net. You can see here these are the flippers, and this is the mask. This picture also indicates snacks. So these are snacks. One of the guys is asking for snacks. You're going to find who is going to ask for a snack in the answering machine. We start with the first one. Who's this? That is Jim. Okay, what do you think Jim is asking for? He's asking for refreshments. He's suggesting that he is going to give refreshments, and he wants his friend Jason to bring what? Snacks. So these are the snacks. Refreshments are the drinks that you can drink, and also the snacks here, the small meals that you can eat. So now the time to listen and to find out what Jim wants Jason to do. What are the requests that he is making in this listening? This is the first part. Let's listen.
Jason, this is Jim. I've already bought some refreshments. Will you buy a few snacks and bring them tomorrow? Thanks.
Okay, now, Jim wants Jason to bring some snacks. So Jim says, Jason, this is Jim. He's introducing himself to tell who is talking on the phone and who is recording the message. I have already bought some refreshments. You can see the refreshments here. Will you buy a few snacks and bring them tomorrow? Thanks. So here, Jim is the person who asks for snack. Try to know who is asking for a snack, because we're going to answer the questions that we told you after this listening. Now we go to the second one. That is Andy. What does Andy want from his friend? Here you can tell that he wants him to pick him up, okay? And he is telling him about the location where his house is, and also he's telling him which direction he can go and what color his house is. Let's listen and find out about what Andy wants from his friend Jason.
Hi Jason, this is Andy. Can you pick me up at my house at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning? My address is 27 Park Drive. It's easy to find. Just go south on Main Street. When you get to the lights, turn right onto 10th Avenue. Park Drive is the second street on the left. Mine's the blue house on the right-hand side. You can't miss it.
Okay, so here, this is Andy, and Andy wants his friend Jason to pick him up, and he's telling him about the location of his house and the color of his house, which is, you can see in the picture here, it is green. You can't miss it. It is very clear that when you go and find the house. Okay, so Andy wants his friend to pick him up. Now we go to John. What does John want from his friend? John, you can tell here that John is asking for the volleyball net. You can see this is a volleyball net, and this is the volleyball. And let's listen to find out the details about the message of John.
Jason, this is John. I can't find my volleyball net. Could you please ask your brother to lend us his? Could you bring it with you tomorrow?
Okay, so here, this is the volleyball net, and this is the transcript of the listening. As always, when you call, you first start with introducing yourself. Now John says, Jason, this is John. I can't find my volleyball net. Could you please ask your brother to lend us his? Could you bring it with you tomorrow? And So we can find out that John is asking for the volleyball net. Now Charles, what does Charles want from his friend? We can tell that Charles wants the snorkeling. The snorkeling, that is the thing that we use when we go diving, and these are the flippers that also we use on during the scuba diving, and this is a mask also. So he's asking his friend Jason for these things. Let's listen and find the details of this message.
Jason, this is Charles. You have some extra snorkeling gear, right? Please bring another pair of flippers to the beach tomorrow. And would you bring an extra mask too? Mine is broken.
Okay, so he's asking him for snorkeling, flippers, and mask. That is Charles. Okay, now it's time to answer the questions that we introduced before listening. Listen to the messages from Jason's telephone answering machine. Match each person with his message. We start with Jim, Andy, John, and Charles. Okay, now this person wants Jason to pick him up at 8 a.m. a.m. here indicates in the morning, 8 in the morning. So which one? Jim, Andy, John, or Charles? That's right. Andy is the one who wants Jason to pick him up. The second one here, B, this person asks to borrow Jason's brother's volleyball net. Which one? Is it Jim, John, or Charles? Very good. That is John is the one who is asking for Jason's brother's volleyball net. And the third one, this person tells Jason to bring a mask and flippers for the scuba diving. Which one? Is it Jim or Charles? That is Charles. Very good. And here we talk about the last one. This person asks Jason to bring snacks. Okay, Jim is the one who asks for snacks. He brought some refreshments and he wants Jason to bring some snacks. Okay, these are the four boys. You can see them in the picture here. Andy, John, Charles, and Jim. Okay, now we move to the second part of our class today, that is about pronunciation. This section here, you need to listen and to note the reduction of could you, and would you, then practice. When we say could you for request and would you also for request, we can use them with reduction. We reduce the pronunciation of these modal verbs, and like this one here, could you can use it like this, and would you. Let's listen and find out in details how we can pronounce these modal verbs, could you, and would you.
Listen. Note the reduction of could you and would you. Then practice. Could you? Could you give me some rice? Could you turn off the light? Would you? Would you help me? Would you pass me the salt?
Okay, so this is the way we can reduce could you and would you. We can say, could you give me some rice? Would you give me, could you turn off the light? And you can say, use also would you by saying, would you help me? Would you pass me the salt? And now we move to the last part of our class today, that is about the irregular verbs. Where you can find these irregular verbs, you can find them on page 83. We have 54 verbs, and today we're going to start with verb 31. Here, this girl is saying, I wasn't scared. Okay, so here the verb say. She says, I wasn't scared. If we want to report what she said in the past, we can say she said. Okay, and if we talk about the past participle of this verb, we can say said. So say in the present, said in the past, and said in the past participle. Martha says, I wasn't scared. This is a story that we're planning, inshallah, to read in Unit 7 when she is acting brave. Martha act bravely when she helped the family. This is a very interesting story about Martha. So Martha says, I wasn't scared. Okay, also she says, I wasn't scared in the present, and in the past we can say, Marta said, I wasn't scared. And if you talk about the action without taking care of time, you can say Marta said, has said, I wasn't scared. In 32, you can use this verb also in the present by saying see. Look at the guy, he's looking at something. We can say see. In the past, saw, and in the past participle, seen. He can say, I see an unusual animal. Okay, that is in the present, regular time. That happens regularly. I see an unusual animal. In the past, you can say also, I saw an unusual animal. And you can use this also in the present perfect by asking a question like this. Have you ever seen an unusual animal? So the verb see can be used so and in the past and seen in the past participle. Sell, okay, to give something in order to get money is the verb sell. The past you can use it sold. In the past participle you can use it sold as well. So you can say they sell it at ridiculous prices. When we talked about, if you remember in the previous unit, when we talk about the street markets, they sell things at ridiculous prices, which is very cheap. If you use it in the past, you can say they sold it at ridiculous prices. Also in the past participle, you can say they have sold it at often ridiculous prices. Okay, number 34, sent. Okay, you can use sent in the present, sent in the past, and sent in the past participle. In the present, we can say I sent emails. That is a regular thing happens. In the past, you can say I sent emails. And in the past, if you have done that and you don't care about the time when it was done, you can say I have sent emails. And the last verb of today is sing. Okay, look at the boys here. They are singing. So we can use the verb sing. The past we can say sang, and the past participle we can say sung. The children sing a song. That is in the present. They usually do that. And in the past we can say the children sang a song. And in the past participle, when they have done that and we don't care about time, we can say the children have sung a song. They have sung a song. And by this we come to the end of our class today. Thank you for watching and see you inshallah in our next episode. Goodbye.